Praise the Lord. Welcome to the Front Runner Podcast. My name is Isaiah Marshall, and we have a very, very special guest today, my brother, Bryan DeCuir, and I've been knowing him for years, but I know him, and I want you all to get to know him, and I know that you all will be blessed by this discussion. Bryan, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Isaiah. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Now, you mentioned about the risk in starting your own law firm and different things like that. But I'm wondering, because, I know, some of your story.
Yeah.
Let's think about and rewind a little bit. So
sure.
Do you think your journey through law school and in some of the things you experienced there kind of helped you and prepare you for that time when you had to take that risk in starting your business?
Yeah, I would say in some ways, yes, in some ways, no. I feel like, and I'll just, I guess, fill the audience in a little bit on my story. For those of you who don't know, in order to be an attorney, you have to pass the bar exam, right? And these are of varying lengths depending on which state you're in. But at the time I lived in California, it's a 3-day, 18-hour long exam. So it is not, it's the hardest exam I've ever taken in my life by far. And it has multi-facets. It's multifaceted. It has, it sort of quizzes you from all different angles and all different directions. And, so when I graduated law school, I thought, because I graduated, I've got the degree in my hand, I was now equipped to take the bar exam.
Yes, sir.
And well, I hit a roadblock. For actually, really, I don't want to say the first time in my life, but I'll say this was probably the toughest thing I had to do. So I took the exam after I graduated law school, and also to fill the audience in, the way that it works is you study for about 2 to 3 months before you take this exam. You take the exam, and then you have to wait another 2 to 3 months for your results. So you're just in limbo.
Yes,
so
sir.
you got to think, for taking the exam once, by the time you study and get your results, that's a 6-month patch of your life.
Wow.
And for that last 3 months, you're just in limbo. You're just working whatever job you were working, doing your normal everyday life, and going, well, I hope and I pray that I'm going to pass pass this exam so that I can move on in my career. Well, first time I get the results back, I didn't pass.
Man, so let's pause there for a moment.
Yeah.
So there's that anxiety of studying and then taking the test, and then there's that anxiety and waiting for your results. Then you get the results and you didn't pass. Like, what was your feelings at that time? Like, how were you feeling? Like,
really tough. Yeah, it's really tough because there's so much energy that you put into that. There's so much. It's almost like, really, it's sort of like what you're talking about with Prefontaine. Like when you're competing, it's like to leave everything on the field, just like he said. It's like leave everything out there, and so you prepare as best as you think you can in order to accomplish your goal.
Yes, sir.
And then you'd go and you do the game, you play the game, you take the test, you do whatever, and you leave it all on the field, right? And then to come back at the end, I mean, the anguish of going, I put all that time and energy in, and it I didn't accomplish my goal.
Wow.
So mentally it becomes really tough, because now you have to immediately start studying again. You've already started studying. I probably, I won't spoil the ending of this story, but I probably, over my course of studying for the bar exam, I probably answered 10,000 multiple choice questions.
Wow.
So you have to immediately start studying. You have to immediately start studying material that you've already studied. And then you also have to recognize that whatever you did last time didn't get your goal.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what do I need to tweak? What do I need to do differently? How do I need to readjust so that I will get that goal? And that becomes a real mental challenge, it's just like anything else. It's like, I mean, if you want to talk athletics, I mean, they got to change their training. How do you train? I got to train differently now.
Yes, sir.
Because I didn't win the race. I didn't accomplish my goal. And so,
wow.
And that on top of, it's sort of a big thing that you're trying to pass the bar exam. So your whole family knows when those scores coming in. All your friends and family,
man, yeah,
everybody that you went to law school with took that exam the same day, and they're getting their results exactly the same time you are.
Wow.
And your whole family is there. And granted, my family, very supportive. Everybody was rooting for me.
Yeah. I know.
Everybody else thought that I was like, yeah, Bryan, he's got what it takes. He's putting the time in. He's doing everything. And
yes, sir.
For whatever reason, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so then you have to go back and you have to tell everyone. I mean, it's the equivalent of, in athletic terms, people watching the race and just in real time saying, you didn't do it.
They saw you not win or PR or whatever.
Exactly.
You didn't have your best game.
Right. Exactly. And so that, honestly, I'll be honest. The first time I took the exam and that happened, it takes a couple of days to get your mind back right again. I mean, it's a sort of an emotional blow where you're like, you thought you did everything you needed to do, and apparently that wasn't it. So, but I'm trying to remember the speaker. I heard a motivational speaker who's an ex-NBA player.
Okay.
And great guy, loved the way he speak. But one of the things he talked about was when he had a setback, when something like that happened, he was a believer. So he basically said, hey, I allow myself to cry. And his joke was, he's like, I get my stereo out, I put my tape in, I play my sad music, and I cry. But he said, I only allow myself to cry for 3 days. And he said, basically the reference being Jesus, coming back. And so, so I feel like that's something that I learned is, it's okay to be sad or not, really satisfied with setbacks like that.
Yeah.
But where it becomes dangerous is if you let that get you down. If you have some kind of permanent change where you say, you know what, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. You just let that challenge and that little setback keep you from pursuing what it is you're trying to pursue.
That's right.
Just give up all together.
That's right. Yeah.
We know you ain't do that. So
well, yeah. I guess to finish the story, I ended up taking the bar exam in California 4 more times. And same result. I took multiple courses. I changed my training every time. And I'm using training as a, obviously not in the broad sense there, but I changed my curriculum. I changed everything that I thought I could change to try to accomplish that goal. And I couldn't do it. And I thought, my first thought was, well, I guess God doesn't want me to be a lawyer. I guess that's what it is. Like, I feel like maybe that's just not my lot in life. I went to law school and maybe I'm just not going to be able to practice law. Wow. But then, and that was tough. Those were the thoughts that I was having. I guess that's what's going to happen here. And ultimately, at the time, my wife was pregnant with our first child. And we were looking for a place to go outside of Los Angeles. Los Angeles is just too crowded, not a great place to raise kids, in my opinion. Sorry if anybody's listening from LA, but it's a big metropolitan city with a lot of people there. And it's expensive to live there. And there were all kinds of reasons why we wanted to get out, but we had ties to Nashville and decided to move. And at the same time, I had my business partner, who I went to law school with. He didn't end up finishing law school, but basically, he said, well, if you came out here and passed the bar, maybe we could go into business together.
Wow.
And so I came out and I passed the bar on the first try in Tennessee.
After doing it that many times in California, you came here and you passed it.
Yeah.
The first time. Wow.
That's right.
Man, that's
yeah,
amazing.
and that's the thing that I was trying. The last part of that is, I think one of the lessons that I learned from that is that, you know, with all the thoughts in my head of like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to be a lawyer. It's like, well, no, actually, what God and the universe was telling me is you're just not supposed to be a lawyer in California.
Mm.
So now 18 years later, I've been practicing law here and I love it. I love living in Middle Tennessee. I love, you know, my house. I think I'm exactly in the right place where I was supposed to be. But I will say that it took going through those things, and it took not giving up. Because if I had given up on the first try, then my whole course trajectory might have changed. And so
Yeah,
it
that's the front runner. Like,
yeah,
you continue to take risks, even though the odds were against you. You know what I mean? But you continue to take risks. You continue to bet on yourself.
I'm out front running all day.